Hello friends and welcome to Top of the Stack MTG. So game day is coming up soon, so we are trying to decide what decks we are going to play for game day. You have to play a standard deck in game day. I believe it's going to be like the 7th and the 8th of August or something like that. It's that weekend in August. Probably the first or barely the second weekend, something like that. So we're trying to figure out what decks we want to play at game day so that we can hopefully maybe win the new cat token that they have or even the playmat if you do really well at game day. So the first deck we're going to go over is one that Dana put together, and it's called I'd Buy That for $1. It's a very fun, aggressive deck. The premise is that you get high-value creatures for very little mana. So let's tear into this and see what we've got. First up, we have got Attune with Aether. This deck runs Longtusk Cub, so of course other ways that you can get energy are great because it just makes the Longtusk Cub even harder to deal with. Attune with Aether is great for that. It also helps with your mana fixing. This deck is 2 colors. It's going to be blue and green. So, Attune with Aether. There's 4 copies of it. Naga Vitalist. This is a 2-drop. This is kind of ramp. It gets you another mana, a creature that gets you mana. It's also a little bit of fixing because it gets you whatever color you currently have mana for on the table. So that's nice. It's a good card. We're running 4 of them. The reason for the ramp will become clear soon. Of course, we're running Longtusk Cub. This is a 2-drop. You can spend 2 energy to put a +1/+1 counter on Longtusk Cub. So gaining energy is a good idea for this deck. It's great. Lots of good value in this deck. Very good creatures. 4 of those. We're also running Channeler Initiate. This is from Amonkhet. With this, when Channeler Initiate enters the battlefield, put 3 -1/-1 counters on a target creature you control. Tap it, remove a -1/-1 counter from Channeler Initiate, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Once again, it's kind of ramp. Also, it's a little bit of fixing. We're going to run 3 of those. It's great because once you have used it for your mana, it's a 3/4. I mean, it's a scary card in and of itself. It's great. Also, Servant of the Conduit. This is a 2-drop. You get 2 energy. You can pay 1 of those energy to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool when you tap the Servant of Conduit. So, more ramp. Now, this energy you may want to save for the Longtusk Cub, but it depends on how badly you need the mana. More ramp for that. That's great. So then we move on to Tireless Tracker. This is a very high value card. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on Tireless Tracker. So just a great, great creature all the way around. We also have, I'm going to jump to this Rashmi Eternities Crafter. This is kind of where the impetus for the entire deck came from. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card with converted mana cost less than that spell's, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If you don't cast the revealed card, put it into your hand. So it's great card advantage, but also if all of your creatures are less mana, then the chance of you being able to drop them right onto the battlefield without paying for them is high. So we're running 3 copies of this because it's a legendary creature. This is excellent for the deck. Also, we are running Nissa, Steward of Elements. Great Planeswalker, Scry 2. The real key is the 0 power. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card or a creature card with converted mana costs less than or equal to the number of loyalty counters on Nissa, you may put that card onto the battlefield. So you get it for free. If Nissa has 4 counters and you pull up a 3-drop, you can just drop it right onto the battlefield, which is excellent. That's the whole point of this deck. We're running 3 of these because, of course, you can only have one Planeswalker out at a time. A Planeswalker with the exact same name out at a time. The greatest thing about this Planeswalker that we have found is you get to pick how many loyalty counters she starts with. So if you have a Nissa Steward of Elements out on the battlefield and it has 6 loyalty counters on it, and you have one in your hand, you can use the -6 power and get 2 5/5 flying haste lands. That'll discard the Nissa. Then, with all of the ramp that we've been talking about, you can put out another Nissa with 6 or more loyalty counters on it right from the get-go and create 2 more 5/5 flying lands. Literally, you can swing in for 20 in the air in one turn. 16. Yes, Dana has reminded me, 16. I guess they're 4/4s. No, they're 5/5s. Yeah, no, it's 20. Good, it's 20. We're in a good shape. Yeah, so you can swing in for 20 on one turn. They're excellent. And that's a neat trick. That's why we have so much ramp in this deck, so that you can get these Nissas just going. Very, very fun. A couple other creatures we need to talk about. Rogue Refiner, of course. Rogue Refiner, when it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy, which you can use on your Longtusk, and you get to draw a card. And it's a 3/2 for 3. I mean, it's just an excellent creature all the way around. And also, a new card, Aerial Guide. Flying. When Aerial Guide attacks, another target attacking creature gains flying until the end of the turn. Flying is a great win condition for a deck like this. You're just getting all this value with all these creatures coming in. And then if you can have a Longtusk Cub that's like 8/8 or something, and you can swing in with the Aerial Guide and the Longtusk Cub, that's great. You're going to do 10 points of damage in the air. It is a very efficient, very fun deck. Definitely worth looking into. I think I've gone over all of the cards, so now I'm going to go into the sideboard a little bit. Oh, for lands. Of course, we're running green and blue. So some options that you can use are Botanical Sanctum. Botanical Sanctum enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. So that's nice. Most of the time it won't come in tapped. So that's great. You don't really want it to come in tapped because you don't want to slow down. Also, Lumbering Falls. Lumbering Falls does come in tapped, but you can spend some mana and it turns into a creature. So that's some nice value if you've got a lot of board wipes going on or something like that. It's worth considering. Honestly, we don't run either of those lands. We literally have 12 forests and 12 islands. Because of the other mana fixing, we just haven't felt the need for that. Although Lumbering Falls may become important. I'm not sure. Good, so that is the mana base. Now let's talk about the sideboard. So it's an interesting time because we've only had really one big competition to know what kind of decks people are going to be playing during game day. We assume there's going to be artifacts. We assume there's going to be some kind of aggro, some kind of zombie graveyard situation. So we've got some choices for sideboard. Of course, you should look into what you think is good for your meta as well. First up, we're going to use Negate, counter target non-creature spell. It's just great for blue, period. It's a 2-drop. You can get rid of anything except creatures. So if you're going against a control deck, it's great. If you're going up against an artifact deck, it's great. It's a good all-around counterspell, Negate. Also, Root Out. We chose Root Out because of its versatility. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. So this way you can get rid of artifacts, which we know there's going to be Gear Hulks, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Artifacts are going to be big, but also the curses. This is a great way to get rid of enchantments. So that's another angle you're going to want to have to worry about. So that's why Root Out is in, from Shadows over Innistrad is in the sideboard. Engulf the Shore. Return to their owner's hands all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands you control. Just overall great protection. If you've got someone who's just pumping out a ton of tokens and they swing in with everybody, you can just play this and all of those go away. All tokens are just gone. The actual creature cards will go up into their hand. It's good. It's just good all the way around. Good for sideboard, just in case. And then we've got this one interesting one, Ceremonious Rejection. We put it counter target colorless spell. It only costs one island. We put this in because this is going to be one of the last times people will be able to play Eldrazi in Standard at this game day. So we're thinking there's going to be a lot of Eldrazi. I think it makes sense. So just in case, in the sideboard. Of course, you should tweak it how you feel best. This is just one of a few of the deck techs that we're going to be doing, working our way up to game day, just in hopes of finding something that we really love and maybe something you really love that you'll be able to play as well. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day.